Welcome to Implausible Nature, your home for all things Black Templar. On today's video, we are revisiting another Codex detachment. This time, we're talking about Ironstorm. Now, if you've been following us for a while, Ironstorm Black Templars were a thing at the start of 10th edition, a thing that we did extremely well because we had Firstborn Crusader squads who could min-max las cannons and plasma guns and were ridiculously cheap. And then, of course, that got nerfed into the ground rather quickly. So here we are. Now, fast forward towards the end of 10th, and we're actually pretty good at Ironstorm again. I mean, is it as good as Gladius? I don't know. But we actually play really well with this detachment. So let's get right into it and find out why we're pretty good in this detachment. So the detachment rule is called Armored Wrath, and once per phase for each Adeptus Astartes unit in your army, you can reroll one hit roll, one wound roll, or one damage roll for a model in that unit. So obviously, this favors low volume, high quality shots, which our melee is not. It's lots of high volume quality shots, but that's not why we're focused on this detachment. Obviously, this benefits stuff like, particularly our new favorite tank, the Repulsor Executioner, uh, because you're wounding most things on threes, and so getting that wound roll, you're probably already getting hit rolls, re-rolls, so getting that wound roll really nice for it. Yeah, just a really solid detachment rule, especially with random damage things. This detachment benefits vehicles and dreadnoughts and stuff very well. So yeah, thoughts on the detachment rule, Bob?
Yeah, anytime you can get a reroll anywhere on a unit, it's a good thing. This one gives you some choice. So as we know from earlier in the edition, having that last cannon shot adaptability is really good. But now that we don't have the las cannon, we still have other things that can use it. So you mentioned obviously the repulsor executioner. That's going to be one that's going to be a big one. Lancers also
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
They do have inherent single reroll for them, but maybe you need to reroll two things.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing. So,
Yeah.
but you did touch on the biggest one is getting that reroll to damage, which is something that is pretty rare across all of the data sheets that we have. So that's going to be where you can up your damage pretty quickly.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's get into these enhancements, and there's some good ones. Target Augury Web is the first one. 30 points. It is Tech Marine model only in your command phase. Select one Adeptus Astartes a vehicle model within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the start of your next command phase, weapons equipped by that vehicle have the lethal hits ability. So anytime you can get lethal hits is always good. This is really good for a number of different units, dreadnoughts, stuff with high volume of shots. Repulsors come to mind. A repulsor executioner, I mean, they have a ton of shots of stuff, a ton of low strength stuff. So getting lethal hits on those is like free damage. So really, really good. You are probably going to take this in every single list.
Yeah, this is the keystone one, I think, for a lot of uh, the detachments. Are one of the reasons why you're going to be taking it is giving that lethal hits to shooting, something that is not common. Will dramatically up the damage of whatever shooting it, whether it be Dreadnought, Redemptor, or maybe one of those other lesser good anti-vehicle or anti-tank things, or even something with high volume shooting is also something that you want to take a look at, because the more chances you have to shoot something, the more procs you're going to get with that lethal hits.
Yep.
And there's plenty of vehicles out there that really kind of like that, as you mentioned.
And lethal hits always works great with things that can reroll to hit, like our repulsor executioner.
Mhm.
So yeah, overall great. It's expensive. 30 points is a lot, but absolutely worth it. So you're going to take this in basically every. It does require a Tech Marine, which you're probably going to want to take anyway with all the vehicles and dreadnoughts that you're taking. So up next is the Flesh is Weak. For a mere 10 points, you can give an Adeptus Astartes model a Feel No Pain 4 plus ability. So this is fantastic on the Emperor's Champion.
Yeah.
So yeah, giving we like the 5 plus from Gladius. This is even better because you're not wasting half of it on a 2 plus save that he already has. You're just getting a 4 plus Feel No Pain. Okay, yeah. So if I'm running the Emperor's Champion, which I probably am, I'm giving them this, this enhancement. Really good. It also works still really well on the Gravis Captain that people like to run. But honestly, I'm going to put it on the Emperor's Champion.
Yeah, the Emperor's Champion loves this. We've talked about in interviews and other videos about why giving him extra durability on top of his already durable body is good. It
Mhm.
makes him pretty tough to take out, and he does do a lot of damage. He's an annoying thorn in your opponent's side, doing his lone op thing. Uh, you can also put him with other things, but if you're going to do that in this detachment, don't spend the time with the Flesh is Weak, in my opinion, even though it's only 10 points, because if the squad dies, he's probably going to die too. But 4 plus Feel No Pain for a mere 10 points is just ridiculously good,
Yep.
especially when you're blanking shots
Yep.
already
Yep.
once per phase. It's just ridiculous.
Speaking of blanking shots, up next in our enhancement list, clocking in at a staggering 35 points, is Adept of the Omnissiah. Again, Tech Marine model only. Once per battle round, when a saving throw is failed for an Adeptus to start his vehicle model within 6 inches of the bearer, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. So this is also really good and quite a contender for Target Augury Web. Being able to just be like, you know what, that railgun that's doing like 12 damage or whatever the heck it does, it's just going to do 0 this round. Thanks for playing. So obviously you don't get to see a damage roll before you do this. It's when you fail a save, you can decide, which is before the damage roll. So if it's like a D6 type of damage thing, you're not going to be able to like see it first. But there's still plenty of things out there that just deal flat amounts of huge damage, and this is great for that. So
The
if you're
Magna Rail of his stupid
Magna
Votan.
Rail, yeah. If you're only taking one Tech Marine, it's going to be a tough choice between these two. Honestly, kind of depends on your list and whether you need those 5 points or not, or how you're trying to approach it. But also a really good take.
Yeah, I agree. For all the things that you said, it is good. Probably the third most important enhancement for us, in my opinion, but still something that is going to be on your radar if you have that many Tech Marines, and I think you probably are going to if you are running this detachment.
Yep. All right. So last is Master of the Machine War at 20 points. This is any Adeptus Astartes model. In your command phase, select one Adeptus Astartes vehicle model within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the start of your next command phase, that vehicle is eligible to shoot, even if it fell back or advanced this turn. So this is handy. Our our dreadnoughts probably want to be in combat, but the repulsor executioner certainly does not, and so if it does manage to get charged and survive, you can use this to fall back. You can also use it to like advance. Maybe you had to hide behind terrain turn one. This detachment does not have a drive through terrain strat, so being able to advance and shoot is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But it's clearly the weakest, in my opinion, of the detachments. There is a lot of fun, tricksy things that you can do with it. It allows you to do a lot of the movement shenanigans that we have come to love. That makes it good. It's certainly not a bad take, but over durability bonuses and extra damage, I think this one's going to be less taken It is 20
Yeah.
points, so it's cost effective. But durability and up your damage, that's a tough take.
Yep. Yeah. It's good, but the others are just better. So it's
Yep.
none of these are bad. You really actually can't go wrong with taking any of these.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
really just gotta kind of depend on your list and what you're doing. You could theoretically take three of the four, depending on what's in your list. That is a lot of points, you know, it's a thing you can do, and you won't be worse for doing it. So,
Yep.
um, all right. So that's the enhancements. All good ones, all beneficial to us. Next up is the stratagems. We're going to start with Unbowed Conviction. This is one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is below its starting strength. Until the end of the turn, your unit can ignore any or all modifiers to its characteristics and or any roll or test made for it, excluding modifiers to saving throws. So yeah, this is this is really good. It's really good on sword bros if you have a wounded sword bro unit, where you can, maybe they planked one off in Overwatch. Please Overwatch my bros. Yeah. I love to fail a save for you so that I can ignore your -1 damage. But it's also good for tanks and other things too. So just a really great strat overall. Useful.
Yeah, this is very, very, very useful. It allows you to get around that stupid -1 damage. There's a number of armies that have it. You listed the one. Probably that's most important going to be Deathwing. But you also have like Death Guard. There's a few out there.
Yeah.
Um, but it's you have to have some damage on it, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. So
Yeah.
there is some tiny little bit of restrictions on it, but really
It's
this
not bad.
will save you.
Yeah.
So and allow you to do some damage against something that should not normally be getting damage from you.
Yep.
So it's really kind of important for one damage or one CP.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is Armor of Contempt. We don't really need to cover this. We've now covered it twice over in other videos. It's just good. Use it when you need it. After that, we have Mercy is Weakness for 2 CP. This is your shooting phase or your fight phase. One Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is below its starting strength, that attack has the sustained hits 1, and when making such an attack, if the attacking model is a vehicle, you get crit hit 5s. So this is also really nice. When you are going to shoot something with lots of guns and rerolls, like a repulsor executioner. I plinked a wound off of your unit with my with my other vehicle or my other unit. Now I get to use this, and yeah, really nice. Getting sustained hits 1. It's also nice you can use it in the fight phase, so we can be pretend RC detachment and get lethal hits and sustained hits critting on 5s with a marshal. So yeah,
I agree. This is a way to potentially swing up even further than you normally could. We've done the math on what the Sword Brethren can do against things like Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, and they are just outside of range of being able to kill a knight with the Marshal, Castellan, and the 5 bros. This will likely get you just past that.
yep.
Obviously, you're going to be wasting the 5 up critical hit that the stratagem provides you because you already get it from the Marshal.
Well, they're not a
Uh,
vehicle either, so they wouldn't
yep.
get it anyway.
So, but you do have the ability to punch up, so
Yep.
that'll give you that option. But then that also applies to things like Land Raiders and Lehman Russes that are vehicles.
Hmm.
Um, so it will allow you to do some damage where they would not necessarily be potentially killing that. It's 2 CP though, so you have to play the game to get it set up and not wasted CP. So just don't whiff.
Just don't
So
whiff. This just in, rolling high is good. Yeah.
use
All
some
right.
implausible nature dice. That'll get
That's
you
right.
there.
Yep, there you go. Next up is a Vengeful Animus. This is 1 CP. Any phase just after an Adeptus starts its vehicle from your army with a deadly demise ability is destroyed. Basically, you can just blow up instead. So you can auto blow up and cause mortal wounds. So situational. You're not going to use this all the time. But if like they charge in and they have like a dude with one wound left on him or something, or a couple wounds left on a unit, and blowing up would kill that unit potentially, which could mean more points for you for any number of reasons, secondaries, primaries, or whatever. Yeah, absolutely worth a CP to try to just kill them. So, situational, but useful.
Yeah, and it really depends on what you're blowing up to. Obviously, the lowly impulsor is probably not a great target, but
Probably
maybe
not
you
great.
have a land raider that's
Yeah.
chilling in there, and that's
Or
surrounded by a bunch of
repulsor.
enemy units. Repulsor,
D6. Yeah. So,
so that could do some more damage.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
not insignificant. There's times where there's enemies all around, and you just want to make sure that you plink off some mortal wounds.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next up, Ancient Fury for 1 CP. This is in your command phase. This is one Adeptus starts as Walker model from your army. Till the start of your next command phase, improve the model's move, toughness, leadership, and objective control characteristics by 1. And each time your model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So you can make those dreadnoughts hit on 2 plus. In addition to being a little faster, a little tougher, and some other semi useful things. But mainly what you want is that +1 to hit, which is really nice. Especially if you're taking like Redemptors where it's random shots and hitting on threes is just potato. So, yeah. So, pretty good. I like it. Um, and it's useful on all those dreadnoughts we're going to take.
Yeah, all three dreadnoughts really kind of like him. I'm not talking about the little guy one that's still technically in the book, but we have obviously the ballistus gets full rerolls to hit, so this is makes it very reliable.
Yeah.
Um, then you have like the Redemptor. The Redemptor really likes this, being able to get semi close shooting as well. And then you have the Brutalis, which obviously you have the nipple weapons, so you can choose whether or not you're melting. This gives it a little bit more reliability, especially with your reroll if you need to use it.
Yeah, because we all
But
know multi meltas are just multi misses. That's really what they do.
yes,
Is
so
miss all the time.
this will help you and get them up the board a little bit faster as well. So
Yep.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
You're probably taking a dreadnought in your list.
Or 3. All right. So next up, Power of the Machine Spirit. It is 1 CP. It is your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. One Adeptus to start his vehicle from unit that was reduced to below half strength as a result of the attacking unit's attacks. So a little bit specific. Your unit can shoot as if it were a shooting phase, but it must target only that enemy unit, and when doing so, can only do so if that enemy unit is an eligible target. Um, so, um, so yeah, a bit specific as far as the requirements. But if you've got like you know, you've got a vehicle that's just above half strength, you can kind of plan to be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna save a CP because when they shoot me, if I live, I'm gonna blast away back. So potentially being able to shoot for free in their turn It's really good, especially with all the guns that the Repulsor Executioner has.
It's also really kind of a little bit cheeky with the Redemptor, because obviously the special rule on the Redemptor itself is -1 damage, so you're going to be taking a lot less damage incoming. So when you finally get to that half mark, it's most likely that your opponent's not going to just kill you outright. So you're going to get the shots back on it. Or if you are thinking it's going to die, this will be one of those ways that you can at least do some damage before it does die, um, based on how much attention that it is drawing. Um, yeah, so really like this one actually. This is extra damage that you would not normally have to or have that your opponent has to account for when you're shooting. Obviously, this is going to be one that you're going to want to tell your opponent, "Hey, this is what I
This is
got.
a
Don't
thing I can
gotcha."
do. Yeah.
Yeah, so that they potentially get it in their head that they don't want to shoot your vehicles, and B, that you're gonna like, well, you didn't tell me that, and then that whole interaction comes up.
Yeah.
So
So that is it for the stratagems. So let's talk a little bit about the synergies of this, and there are a fair amount. Obviously the biggest one is the built-in reroll to hit, wound, or damage. Is really good. That our repulsor executioners love that. Ballistus dreadnoughts like that too. Redemptor dreadnoughts love that. Even the Lancer likes it because you do get one of each natively with that, but now you get a second one that you can use if something goes awry, right? Nothing worse than like, yes, I hit with both, I wound with both. All right, great. And damage roll 2 1s. Woohoo! Okay, well let's now we can re-roll them both. Stuff like that. So the
yeah,
any of the low volume shot, obviously, like our melee units, doesn't really benefit uh, our sword brethren. They focus on volume of attacks. Um, it could benefit though, um, if you're using like a strike profile for like Helbricht or the Emperor's Champion, getting like a reroll to wound specifically could be very useful for them. But it's mainly going to be our shooting units that are going to benefit the most from this. Plus, I mean, even though it's only one reroll, a reroll to hit or wound is a reroll to hit or wound. And sometimes you just need that extra power fist attack to go through from a jump pack intercessor to knock
yep,
that guy out or something.
yep.
So,
And
um,
that's what exactly I was just going to mention. I was like, that's a good call out is the jump pack intercessor, because the
mhm,
sergeant has that power fist. You're going to
yep,
get that reroll on him. You don't care about the other things,
yeah,
so it's just save it for him. But another one that I want to call out is the scout squad. So
yeah,
you have two specialty weapons that are in that squad. You're almost always taking them, but you don't really get a lot of use of them necessarily because of their ballistic skill. I'm talking about the missile launcher and the sniper rifle,
yeah,
both situational, but now you have something that will actually give them something with some bite, because you get to re-roll one of those
yep.
potentially missed items. Um, Now, is it still reliable? Probably not, but now
No,
it's just a
it's a little
tiny
better,
bit better.
tiny bit better.
So
So,
it gives that a little bit an option.
and that crack
Um,
missile strength 9, it's not bad. Strength 9 is
yeah,
not bad. Um, So yeah, obviously great synergy around that. Some really good stratagems. We talked a little bit about them. Something that has come up multiple times every time we've mentioned an enhancement or stratagem is our repulsor executioner and how well it plays into this detachment. Obviously, it's a vehicle based detachment, but our repulsor executioner just jives so well with the strats and the enhancements in here, like giving it lethal hits, and then you can give it sustained hits, and then I can shoot back, and then all these things just make it a really scary tank, and we're probably taking two.
Or
So
maybe 3, depending on
or
your
maybe
list.
3. I only own 2, so I'm only taking 2. So
He bases all of his list of ice based on what he owns.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to run a. I mean, like, unless it's just like a meme list of like, okay, well, let's do something crazy and take 100 Crusaders or something like that, or something wild off the wall. That it's just more of a curiosity. Then I'll run it in TTS for us. But you know, um, yeah, I want to be able to put it on the table. So,
There is some high level players that are taking triple repulsor executioners
oh yeah,
and taking them out to play. So that is something that in the Black Templars. So that's something that is important. And I really think you kind of touched on something that's really kind of important. So we do have a lot of damage potential, even in our detachments in our book. And our data sheets themselves do provide that, whether it be the Castellan and Marshals and the Sword Brethren run around or with Helbrecht. There's play with Grimaldus and Assault Intercessors. All of that does give us some damage. And really, all of our detachments give us some form of movement shenanigans, whether it be Godhammer being able to deploy 6 inches out. We have COV has a ton of them. Venomance has a few items, but what um, really kind of comes to play is when you're looking at this detachment is how much damage that you can put out.
yeah,
So obviously we have strong detachments and we rely on the detachments themselves. This one really buffs the ability to touch your opponent from across the board and do an overwhelming amount of damage before you even come into close combat. And that's really something that is tough to deal with as an opponent, because if you move out from behind a firing lane, it's game over. Especially if you have 2 or maybe even 3 repulsor executioners backed up by some redemptors, maybe lancers in there. They're going to go to their vehicles are gone. It's just between the the potential for a sustained, and then you get the +1 to hit on from Tech Marine and those rerolls, and then maybe you have lethal hits on them. Something's going down,
yeah.
and it's really tough to do,
Well, and
especially
it
when you're reaching out.
and it makes things like for example, target augury web, lethal hits, put down on a repulsor, um, and now you've got a number of outside your normal shooting phase options that uh, can make it really dangerous. Right now, it's a really scary Overwatch threat. It has all those guns with rerolls to hit, and every hit in Overwatch will be a lethal hit. Right, so you've got that because that ability lasts until your start of your next command phase. It also means that if you get shot in your opponent's shooting phase and it brings you below half strength, you can use that strat and get lethal hits there too. So there is, just like you said, there's a ton of damage potential in mostly in the shooting phase. There is some in the fight phase. You can ignore the modifiers for sword bros or anything else. You can also get the sustained hits if you're targeting something below half strength, which is nice. So yeah, the something that we've kind of touched on in the past a little bit, but really is evident when looking at this detachment is, so what makes a good detachment, right? So a good
Yeah.
detachment is going to do one of 3 things. It's either going to greatly improve something you're already good at. So in our case, usually melee, right? It's going to be just good at everything. It gives you buffs across the board. Gladius comes to mind, right? Or it's going to remove a weakness. Well, a weakness for us is the shooting phase. Like besides the repulsor executioner, we have to rely on stuff that have their own rerolls. So that's why you don't see like a lot of Vindicators. You don't see a lot of Redemptor Dreadnoughts because we don't have Oath anymore to help shore that up. We don't get +1 to wound with Oath. This really buffs our shooting output, so we can shoot stuff and then make sure that when we're getting into melee, we're reaching out and cracking those transports and killing their screens and whatever we need to do so we can get in there and kill stuff in melee too. And it, uh, even though this is like a shooting vehicle focused detachment, it really makes us very well rounded as an army. So, for those, I know because I'm sure we're gonna have people in the comments going, "Oh well, now we're just uh, cross iron hands with crosses." I said black iron hands, but they're already black. So, um, but it's, if you want to think about it from the perspective of, hey, this is making us more well rounded. It's not forcing us to only be shooting, right? We can still be very melee. Uh, it just makes our shooting that much better.
Yeah, and I agree. And it also allows us to re-access some of those data sheets that we don't really want to look at anymore because we lost Oath, like Vindicators. Now we can, okay, maybe we didn't get the greatest hit roll. Now we can at least punch one of those things through. We get the
Yeah,
chance to get that, or maybe you hit with all of them, wounded with everything, and you just had a dunk damage roll, and you can put it on that. It also makes something like the Gladiator Reaper worthwhile in
all those
the
shots.
detachment
Yeah,
with the shots, getting the sustained, which is native the two, but then you get uh, other options within
lethals,
the
lethals with it makes it really nice.
yep, yep, lethals. So those are going to be something that you can look at. There's vehicles all over the place that are an option to give us something that we don't normally do within the list outside of a specific one or two units. Right now, it's the Ballistist and the Repulsor Executioner, and then sometimes the Land Raider Redeemer. Those are
Yeah,
really it, and we take them because we either ignore the hit roll or we get re-rolls to hit.
yeah.
And
And it's not like the Lancer is bad for us outside of this detachment, or in any
of course,
detachment. It's not. But when you're taking a Lancer, you're like, okay, well, I still need a transport for my guys. Well, why not just take a Repulsor Executioner and get the same thing in one plus a lot of extra shots? So it's just like whenever you're like, oh, I could take a Lancer. Well, but why not just take a Repulsor Executioner? And now I have a transfer. Now I can combine the two things into one. So that's why we're um, seeing very few Lancers and Vindicators and things like that, because just the Repulsor just fits our needs much better, and this attachment makes it shine even brighter. So yeah, I think everyone's very focused on Gladius as the best detachment, and it may very well still be the best detachment. But I think Ironstorm makes us very well rounded as an army. Right? There's a couple buffs in here for melee, but to be honest, we don't really need a lot of like strats and stuff. Like our data sheets are just good on their own. They don't need a lot of help from anywhere else, be it strats or enhancements or whatever. So, in particular, our sword bros. So yeah,
my favorite thing in this, I won't lie, in the whole detachment, this is the reason why I'm looking at the detachment to start with that piqued my interest is giving the Emperor's Champion
yes,
a
the
four up feel no
field of
pain.
pain is stupid. It's so stupidly funny. Like that was what I was like. I was like, yeah, that looks interesting. I wonder if I can make a list around that. And we actually have someone in our Discord who's had a lot of success with this. So shout out to Missing Link. He's done very well in some very tough tournaments with Ironstorm Templars. So yeah, um, it's definitely viable. You know, if you want a more well-rounded balanced shooting and melee, this is a great detachment for that. So, and the other thing too, for people who are like, oh well, but it's not very fluffy or lore friendly or whatever. Well, armored spearhead is a way that Templars like to wage war. So, it describes it in the fourth edition codex of our tanks and stuff like, barging through enemy lines. That's exactly what you can do with this. And who doesn't like dreadnoughts, right? Get some dreadnoughts in there. So
Exactly.
that was the other thing. I was like, I really like. I have all these dreadnoughts, and I never put them in lists except for occasionally ballistas, which I'm not even really doing that anymore because I'm putting repulsor executioners in there. But I have these redemptors, and the redemptors are so cool. I have like the third party bits for them to make them look, even more Templary, and then they never see the table.
And they
So,
just got a point reduction, so
and they
now you
just
have
got
no
a point
excuse.
reduction, So yeah, yeah, um, that's any final thoughts you want to put out there, Bob?
No, I think this is a detachment that should definitely pique people's interest, especially if you like that armored spearhead. I know Godhammer is out there, but it is
It's a
transport heavy.
it's a little
This is
different.
more
It's
of your
more focused
shooting
on
thing.
transports versus just tanks and
Yep.
dreadnoughts and stuff. So
But it
different
is very
flavors
well
of
rounded.
vehicles. Yeah, yeah, and it makes
So
us a
I
well-rounded army. So yeah, so that's the video, guys. Hope you liked it. Definitely give this a try if you haven't. Bob and I have already made lists for this. We were actually brainstorming lists a couple weekends ago when we were hanging out together in person for Warhammer 40,000 the weekend trip in the mountains. So we've put together some lists. We will link them down in the description for you. So take a look at our lists. Tell us what you think. Take a look at this detachment yourself, and let us know how you're doing with it. Let us know what successes you're having with it, and or tell us if you think we're just wrong. Like, you guys are nuts. What are you talking about? Like, so just let us know. We want to hear your feedback. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the great things. I want to thank everyone so much. This is our first video after hitting 10,000 subscribers. It's been 5 years, and we've hit 10,000 subs. Great things all around for the channel. We have our new, very soon releasing. We will have a video very soon on our new dice, our limited edition 5th anniversary dice that are coming out. They're super cool. I cannot wait to show them to you guys. Don't forget to check out our Patreon. We have a lot of great things going on with our Patreon, a lot of great benefits. And of course, you get to support your favorite YouTube channel as well. Link for that in the description. It is Implausible Nature patreon.com/implausible nature. We have a great Discord as well. Check that out. Great discussions going on every day. So until next time, keep on crusading.